knows? Oh, it all shifted. Hey, everyone.
Hey, everybody.
That's weird. That totally shifted.
It did all shift.
It just went.
Is KP there?
Yep. Well,
Yeah,
here we are. Whoops. Yep.
I was like, wait,
moved me around. She pulled my chair out and moved me around.
She did. It's like musical chairs. Hello, everybody.
Hey, everyone. We're so glad you guys could be here. We're super excited to have KP with us here today.
Yes.
Yay. We'll give her a round of applause.
Oh, goodness. And I haven't even done anything yet. That's nice.
All right, let's see who is here. Yeah, Elderly Poodle, I'm so happy to see you, Poodle. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for coming in.
There's KP. KP's here. Did you know that? Yes. KP's here.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Heather Gibbs. Glad you can make it. Melanie Morris is here. Hello, Melanie.
Mm-hmm.
Teresa and Roy
here to learn about the Hull Pottery.
Yes, they're excited. Mm-hmm. Lisa Aren's here. Hello, Lisa. Hey, Lisa, thank you for the shout out on Scott and Patrick's sale last night. I did see it. I just didn't want to comment. But
we were super excited.
Yeah,
we
appreciate that.
Yeah,
we just kind of were like, thank you, quietly.
Yeah, I said it in my head.
Thank you. Yeah.
So
it's just kind of like etiquette too.
It's that etiquette. I didn't comment.
We appreciated it and we read it. We saw it. Yay!
I saw it. So I was like, oh, thank you. Yeah. Val M is here. Hello.
Yes, I see all the peoples.
Lynn Fogy, Lynn Fogy.
Fogel.
Lynn Fogel's here. Hello, Lynn. Happy weekend.
Yeah.
Justine. Hello. Welcome in, Justine.
Hello from Boston.
Mm-hmm. Bev is here. Hello, Bev.
Oh, dear ladies. I love that.
You got it, girls.
Mm-hmm.
And
Marilyn.
Hi, Marilyn.
We got her book.
Oh, yes, we got your book.
Thank you so very much. That was so sweet and kind of you to send us that book. I love it.
Marilyn sent us a book on pottery and porcelain marks.
Yes, maker marks. So,
which I
very useful.
Yeah, she waited to the end of the sale program. That was smart. Yes. That was smart of you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That was very smart of you. So I did see it, and I was like, oh, thank you.
Yeah. So thank you again, Marilyn. That was just really, really kind of you. I was like, oh, look at that.
Yes, it's very nice. And we stuck your card in there, so we'll always remember that.
Yes, we kept your nice card.
Yes, so that'd be good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let me tell you all what we're doing tonight.
5K race tomorrow?
Who's doing a 5K race?
Val. Well, good luck on your race tomorrow. Absolutely. Get some good rest. And that's what's wonderful about these chat abouts. You're not going to miss any, you're not going to miss anything. Like, you just rewatch it.
Right. You just rewatch it. Exactly.
And it's okay. Yes.
That's great.
Yes. Run, Val, run. How's that?
Hello, Brenda. Thanks for coming in. Thank you.
Hello.
So let's see.
We got 21 people watching right now.
Very nice. Yeah. Very nice. If you all, come on in and give us a hello if you like. We would love to know who is all here.
Yes, or at least a thumbs up.
Yes, and give us a thumbs up as well. Get the algorithm out there.
Sylvia Lee.
Sylvia Lee is here. Hello, Sylvia. You are here. Okay, well, let me just give you a little rundown of what we're here to do, what we're here to chat about, right, KP?
Jenny Mac's in the house.
Jenny Mac! Woohoo! All right. So this is a little show that KP and us have come up with called Let's Chat About It. And every so often we think of a subject, whether it's from you guys, inspiration from what you guys tell us, or something that we think of. I think this kind of came up with out of it where someone was asking, what's the difference between Hull and Hull, kind of a thing. So that's and Shay and I both love Hull Pottery. we came across some really great pieces, and that's kind of like how this one kind of came together. We have an idea for our next one. We think we might delve into the glowies. What makes it glow?
What makes it glow?
So that may be our next one that we're going to work on. I know you all have questions about that. What makes it glow? Why does it glow a little bit? That kind of thing. So we're mulling that one around. Yeah, a big difference, right, Jenny? Yeah. So yeah, so that's what this is. So anything else to add? So KP is going to run through her.
You can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
I can. Yeah, I can hear you.
I think accidentally I muted my microphone. So anyway,
Oh.
you did. It's fine. Hello, hello. I'm here. It's all great. It's just. Go ahead.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
KP's
I
had.
wasn't ignoring you. Let's put it that way.
I was like, she's a little quiet. I wonder what.
Nope.
I was wondering if maybe you
Reading
muted
the chat.
yourself.
I'm
Yeah.
reading the chat as well.
Hi, Lori.
Hi, Lori.
Yes,
How are
Lori's here.
you?
Hope you and
Joe.
Robert are doing well.
Yes.
Yes. So KP is going to give us a little. What do we say? We're not going to do a deep dive, right? We're just
Right. No
gonna
deep
get
diving. Yep.
we're gonna get our ankles wet.
Yeah,
I love that.
we're gonna wade in.
We're gonna
And
wade into our ankles.
it's simply not possible to it would be like a college lecture or something. This the
Right.
company's the company has been around for a long time, and we're going to we're going to talk about the history a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this is we're going to focus on identifying. Well, I have identified the pieces that Heather and Shane have, and we're going to talk about a couple of other lines that Hull made that are popular and that people will recognize. And many of you probably already know about Hull art pottery, but we're gonna chat about it anyway. And
Yes.
here we are.
Let's chat
Yeah,
about
and there were
Shane.
some things that I mean, it's always been on my radar, but there's some things that I did not know about the company. And that's what's fun about these is that we all get to learn. Like
Yes.
I know a little bit about a lot of stuff, but I don't know a lot about a lot of stuff. So that so so that's
Yeah.
what's fun about these is I learn, we get to talk to each other, we get to learn something together.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. And if you have questions, Shane and I are watching the chat, and we will get KP's attention if it's a question that she can answer
Yep.
right away, or we can wait till we take a pause, or at the end, whichever
Yeah,
way we do it.
exactly. I am in the studio, and I also have the YouTube tab open, and I
Mm-hmm.
can see the comments in the studio and in YouTube. They might be a little bit different as far as where they are. But I'm going to be maneuvering between my photos, my Gmail photos. Heather's going to kind of help me drive, or she's
Mm-hmm.
like last time, I think I was strictly in my photo album, just
Right.
moving through the photos. And while that, was maybe okay, I really didn't get to interact with anybody. And we didn't get to see you guys. And you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
Heather and I were talking about this, that we want it just to be a little bit more relaxed and so forth.
Yeah.
KP has a newscaster voice.
Doesn't she? She's got an
That's funny.
awesome voice.
Oh, Poodle, you're always saying the most lovely things. Anyway, I hope my voice is okay. It's a little gravelly
It
to me.
sounds good.
Is
It
it?
sounds
Okay.
very good.
Maybe it's filtering through better. Anyway, so I can get
Yeah.
started whenever you want, and
Yeah. You're
I
good to
I will
go.
go fetch the first. I'm gonna go fetch the first image here that we're gonna
Okay.
use. And there you go. Oh, right.
So you want me to spotlight it, or you want me to add
Um,
you to it?
you can leave it. You can leave it little. Make us big and leave it little on the
Okay.
bottom, like you did. Just bear with us. We're gonna. We've only done this about 3 times, and it's
Three
like
times.
Okay, so make us big. All right, hold on.
Make
Spotlight.
not me big. No. Put that
Okay.
well, the make the
Hi.
make the make the image big or off to the side. Anyway, you can leave it there for a minute.
I
Anyway,
can't, oh, wait, here I go. Okay, I got it now. I got it.
yay,
Okay,
there it
here we
is.
go.
Yay. Okay, let me
Sorry, I forgot
sorry.
I can grab it and drag it. Okay, there, I got
Okay,
it now.
there it is.
Yes.
All right. So, essentially, this was a bit of a kind of a joke or that we just I told Heather that I was gonna make a slide basically saying, you have Hull, like Hull art pottery versus
Hmm.
Hall's. You really gotta enunciate that superior
The
quality kitchenware.
holes. Yes.
Hall's, yeah, Hull. We're gonna talk about Hull art pottery on the left, and then you can see what Hall's is. And many of you already know this, but a lot of people are like, is it Hall or is it Hall's or is it I mean, you almost have to spell it out when you're talking about it. Like which company are you talking about? And they're vastly different, as you know. Essentially, I'm not going to talk about Halls, but they were, they did mostly kitchenware and utilitarian ware and that type of thing, as you can see there. That everybody probably recognizes those patterns. Um, yeah, and maybe that could be a different chat, but
Hmm.
Hmm.
I have some Hull pottery that I inherited from my mother that she collected in the 70s, and it's beautiful pottery. Oh, wonderful. Yeah, it is beautiful. And I kind of think it's a little bit unique in well, you have all the other huge popular uh, pottery companies. There's
Hmm.
Roseville and Shawnee and all of those. And each one of those is special in its own way, as is Hull's. But anyway, that was just a fun little thing just to give a comparison. Like maybe you can keep that in the back of your mind. It's like when that's the difference there, the design,
Yeah.
the style,
Hmm.
the two different companies. And somebody said, "I see the hall, the hall orange poppy." Yeah, that's what as it's on the in the middle row there, the casserole dish, right? So it looks like
Oh
this.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you can't see my cursor because um, I'm not in my photos, but as before when I was pointing to stuff, and we don't really need to do that right now. All right, well, let me go grab the other slide and we'll get started here.
All right.
And
Yeah,
forgive
that's
me.
that's a really good comparison because then you're like, oh yeah,
Oh,
it's kitchenware. The halls is kitchenware. The hall
yeah,
of pottery is pottery.
yeah. They made these lines of in each of the different. I think they had about 15 patterns. Halls did maybe more, but you could collect the whole set. You know, and
Hmm.
uh, the interesting thing that I learned, just to throw it out there, that jewel tea or autumn leaf or
Yes.
autumn that Aladdin style teapot, when they made that line, they only made the teapot in the beginning, and then later on they made all the other things to go with it. So that's kind of interesting.
Yes, that is.
I
And
know.
I was just we were just at the thrift store today, and I saw that autumn leaf. They had a bowl of it. I'm like, oh, should I grab this?
Yeah,
It was
I
it
know. Yeah,
wasn't in great condition, but I was like,
yeah.
oh, should I
There's
grab
so
this
much
for
of it.
tonight?
Hmm.
That would have been kind of fun.
It
But yeah,
was. I didn't go back. I should have went back and looked at it.
I think that's like everywhere. They produced a
Yeah.
lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, let me go get okay. Let's start here. Yeah, you can kind of leave us like that if you want.
But I can
Or
I'm
whatever
like
you want to do,
make
you
it
can
bigger. I'll make
enlarge
it
it.
bigger since there's words.
Yeah. So what I wanted to begin with is that the these are some bullet points, and I'm going to kind of read them together. Uh, the reason I started with 1907 is that's when the Acme Pottery Company was acquired. But to begin with, in 1905, Addis Emmett Hall, which is commonly known as A.E. Hall, he organized the A.E. Hall Pottery Company, and it's based out of Crooksville. And I think a lot of people know that. You can see it in the little image up there. And the original plant that he had, it had 4 kilns, and it was heated by natural gas, which I guess was kind of a new thing. I don't really know the details of that. Hey, Briar. Um, and they called that primary location plant number 1. All right.
Mm.
So then moving on quickly, 1907. So Hull acquired the Acme Pottery Company, and this is important because he was able to expand, and it was located in the same area, in like on a different street or something like that, I think. So I'm going to move through these points quickly to give the overall history, and then when we'll go further into a little bit of detail on certain things. But this is why does it skip from 1907 to 1930? Well, I'll get into that in a minute. But so unfortunately, the A.E. Hull Sr. died, and then his son, A.E. Hull Jr., went on to manage the company. And let me read here. Yeah, I just wanted to, I forgot a point here. The leading up or going back to the purchase of Acme Pottery Company, that became plant number 2, and that particular the origin of that. With this is kind of an interesting bit of family history, is that that particular Acme, or like you call what the Acme up where you are,
Mhm.
you see the
Yeah.
Acme. Anyway, that's so funny because it's like those anvils in the old Roadrunner cartoons.
Yes.
Everything was
Yes.
labeled Acme.
Yep.
Acme. Yeah.
Anyway, that particular pottery was formed in 1903 by a group of businessmen. They all invested in it, and one of them included uh, A.E. Hull Sr.'s brother, which was
Mm.
J.J. Hull. So these things kind of tended to, they when you live and work in these towns back then, I think everybody knows everybody, and everybody, they move around a lot
Hmm.
and that type of thing. So another interesting point is that uh, A.E. Hall, or I'll just say Hall Jr., he leaves the company and becomes the general manager of the Shawnee Pottery Company.
Wow.
And then this other gentleman takes over, Gerald F. Watts. And I was not able to really find a lot of information on him, and it's not really that important other than just naming who was running the company at that time. So here's the uh, horrible thing that happened in 1950. The original plant, it's destroyed by a flood, and then a fire, because I'm just glancing at the chat real quick. I think what I was reading is like a kiln blew up or something. I mean, so not only did it flood, but then a fire burns it to the ground.
Hmm.
So it took them for a long time to get it rebuilt. And then when they rebuilt it, they opened it as just the Hull Pottery Company.
Mm.
You don't, nothing was labeled like AE Hull anymore.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And
So
then
is that right?
JB Hull becomes the general manager. Again, couldn't find information on some of these people. It just isn't in there. It's not in the book that I have. They just name names, but they don't really give relationships, like who was this person. So
Right.
if somebody wants to deep dive into that, they can. But I'm going to go to the next slide here. Excuse me, I'm going to cough.
Hmm.
I hope I muted myself for that.
Yeah, I didn't hear it.
That's what I did before. I think I muted myself and then I forgot to unmute. All right, so moving on, this will take us down into the 90s. So between 1950 and 1978, under the new leadership of J.B. Hall, production resumed to its greatest levels, producing 100,000 items per week. That's incredible. That's all the different lines. They continue to expand and diversify its product line to coincide with the times, and that's what, when I was talking earlier to Shane, it's that sweet spot of the 40s and 50s where they were producing the pottery that we kind of recognize as Hull, that the pastel pottery with the you know what I'm talking about, the particular shapes and all of that. And a lot of it was based on the design, like anything, design styles that were popular. So in 78, J.B. Hull died, and then this Henry Sullins becomes president of Hull Pottery Company. And then he was succeeded by this other gentleman, which I believe he carried it through until they closed. So it says, even though the Hull Pottery Company maintained its reputation for producing quality items, the company faced mounting foreign competition. I think I was telling Shane about this, and multiple labor strikes. Unfortunately, the company ceased to exist and they closed it in '86. So then, in '93, as you can see, the plant was sold to Friendship Pottery. Here's another thing. However, building caught fire and during renovations, and it was destroyed. And
Oh my God.
that was the and
1993.
that was the end of that.
That was
So
the end.
there is your very short and very sweet explanation of some of the history behind Hull. Oh, I was going to mention before you, the gentleman you see there,
Mm-hmm.
these gentlemen here, this is in um, their what do you call it? The mold room. What they're doing, and this is another. Everybody probably knows this that collects pottery. They're all slip cast. Like these are molds,
Mm-hmm.
and they would pour the clay into it, kind of like when they do blow glass in a mold. They
Mm-hmm.
separate the molds, but then they had to be hand trimmed because there were seams. So they would use those special like um, ceramics tools. Shane probably knows what I'm talking about. Just kind of
Mm-hmm.
trim, and a lot of the details on some of the styles, you know what I'm trying to say. The pieces was very
Mm-hmm.
detailed, and it took a really fine hand to get all of the extra clay out of there,
Right.
and they use, like, wet sponges to smooth things. But
So
yeah,
after when the fire happened in 1993, that was it. That was Hall was done.
right, well, Hull actually closed, they ceased to exist in 1986, and then this Friendship Pottery Company, which had nothing to do with Hull,
Oh, see, okay.
they bought the plant or both plants,
Okay,
and then that building caught fire. So
gotcha.
it basically, there was nothing made that has the Hall name on it after 1986. But you can see, and what I was saying is that it began back in 1905 through 1986, and the only time they weren't really producing anything is when the first fire happened, the flood and the fire,
Mm-hmm.
and then they got back to business. So moving on, and this is what
Okay.
whoops, I was trying to, yeah.
Oh, Joanne
What?
did ceramics too.
Oh, cool.
I used to do ceramics. I know how hard it is to ship. Yeah, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about then, or you know what I meant by that. I did a little bit of that when I was in school as well. Um, and hello, Joanne. And yeah, it clay working with clay is kind of fiddly, especially if you're trying to learn how to throw something on a wheel. I never really I like it aesthetically, but I wouldn't want to make it, right? Or I wouldn't, you know what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wouldn't enjoy making it.
Oh, hi,
But
Joan.
yeah, we're a little bit.
Shane majored in it.
Yeah.
That was her
That
major
was
in.
Oh,
my major study.
yeah, you did. I know. And
Yeah.
Joan says, were they in full production during the two world wars? Um, Kind of yes and no. They were trying to keep things going. From what I read, there really wasn't. That would be another kind of separate side thing. I know that they did keep it going through the Depression era. Um, they encouraged people to buy American. During the wars, also they were encouraging people to buy American pieces. Of course, didn't want people buying things from Japan or Germany, and
Mm-hmm.
no shade to either of those lovely countries, but it was the times. It was
Mm-hmm.
what was going on in the world. politics, the wars, all of that. So yeah, they did kind of keep going. And they, like I said, the thing that I discovered is the only time they really weren't producing anything was when that plant burnt down in 1950, and then they you know they rebuilt it and they got right back to producing the pottery.
Mhm.
But what I wanted to show here, and the reason this is up here, is this is the early years, in like from around 1917. They Yeah, they were very popular producing, like I said, utilitarian stuff before they started to make the art pottery,
Okay.
and they were really successful, with their early, their stoneware and that type of thing, um, when they originally began producing
Mhm.
pottery items. So along around 1917, they really began to like lean into that and introduced. They wanted to expand, and as it said here, the company's early lines consisted of common utilitarian stoneware, semi-porcelain dinnerware, and decorative tile. That's what they were producing before
Mm.
they started to make art pottery. And it says, however, the company quickly established a firm market and enjoyed an excellent reputation for producing quality ceramics. And the examples you're seeing there are the utilitarian pieces, and those are from the 20s, not really from 1917. But you can kind of see how different that is from the art pottery. They're making like mugs and steins and batter bowls and kitchenware, and they made many many lines that. Oh, Karen K is here. Hi.
Hey, Karen
Yeah.
Kay.
So, this see, I can glance over and speak to people. This is a
Yeah.
better way to do this.
Good.
Um, but yeah, so because they were expanding by the early 1920s, it was just booming because they had all these different diverse products. I mean, they were, um, you know, pottery makers, meaning
Mhm.
utilitarian pottery makers. You know what I'm trying to get at.
Yep.
It wasn't so much decorative arts. That kind of thing. They did make vases and such for like florists and
Okay.
kind of like gift shops, that type of thing. They were making vases. But the big thing that happened in the early 20s was in 1923. Uh, the company expanded even further when Hull built a 310-foot kiln,
Wow.
and that it, you can imagine they were able to really begin to excel at producing.
Mhm.
I think that they were always probably these companies by a little bit held back, maybe some of them, because it was expensive. This kiln was like a ridiculous amount of money to build. I
I
can't
can
remember the
imagine.
figure, but it was thousands of dollars back then. Maybe it was even 10,000. I don't know what I read. And back then that was crazy money.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm
So
sure.
right. So with the new kiln and then of course the addition of the second plant, the Acme plant, we can refer to it as that, but I guess they called it whole plant number 2 or something.
Mhm.
They were able to increase their production and produce almost 8 million pieces of pottery annually. So that's a lot of stuff. Um, yeah, and another thing that they produced, and I didn't really include pictures of it, was they made some lusterware, and
Hmm.
the photos that I saw, it wasn't very lustrous or pretty. So I don't know how successful that was, but yeah. So um, I just thought I would throw that in there. And like I said, I think I said they also made tile, but I think they dabbled in making a lot of different things. That is a huge kiln, yeah. But I think they knew what their strengths were, and I think they focused in on that, and they started to make more, pottery that was obviously more popular. Do they always mark the pottery? Oh, yeah. I'm going to answer that later, Brenda.
Okay.
Yes and no.
Okay.
but I have a whole thing on that. So, yes, did they hire women? Oh, yeah, those were a lot of women were working in those, yes, they were there, and then and a very special one that I'm gonna talk about momentarily.
Nice.
Yes, yes, it was I mean, it was a they needed people that were skilled, that had, that, knew how to, and I'm assuming they trained them. Uh, Back then, they had, like, they had people working in the, decorating rooms,
Hmm.
the trimming rooms, like I said, the cleaning up the pottery that came out of the molds, like, they probably had a group, like you saw the group of gentlemen were probably pouring, the slip into the molds. Then when they were taken out, they were probably passed on to someone else, like a different department, and they would
Hmm.
do the cleaning up. And then you had a different department that would add the hand details. And you'll see what I'm talking about when we get further into it. Those were hand painted, hand applied. The glaze was hand applied on um, most of the art pottery pieces. To That's the only way they could do it, to get those fine details.
Hmm.
But we'll move through this one quickly, but here's an example of they started to experiment with art pottery. This is when they got away from the utilitarian and they started to make art pottery. And you can see
Hmm.
those glazing techniques and everything. It's so vastly different from what we think of as Hull.
Hmm.
And I kind of found that fascinating that these examples are, like I said, probably from well, they are from the 20s. They're not older. And they made a lot of, like I said, pots for florists and gardenware and vases. Um, yeah, so that was a new thing for them, because that's the wonderful thing, is that they kept, like many of these pottery companies, they kept experimenting with creating new things, right? All right, let me go get the other slide. All right, this is a fun bit. I didn't know this, and maybe other people
Oh.
did, but in 1937,
Spice.
yeah, the Hull Pottery Company, A.E. Hull Pottery, they accepted a huge contract with Schulten. That's who made Old Spice, and of New York, of course, for production of pottery containers for its Old Spice men's toilet products.
Huh. Oh wow,
Isn't it
that's what
something? Yeah,
that.
which included those shaving mugs. Yeah, you can
Yeah,
see the aftershave, the talc. And I thought that was pretty fascinating, because as a kid, we probably all remember our dad or somebody had and used Old Spice.
Oh
oh,
yeah.
oh,
Oh, our
definitely.
And
dad
Yeah,
did.
I
Yeah.
think my
yeah.
grandfather never knew about Old Spice being. I know, Lori, isn't that cool? Like, I didn't know either, so that was really fun. Um,
That's cool.
they produced about 11 million pieces for
Wow.
Schulten. Um,
Huh.
yeah, and it kind of helped to make the product line very successful. Though that ship design and Old Spice, the whole logo, all of it is so recognizable. I mean,
That's very
everybody
cool.
knows what that is. You don't even, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting to find. When you're out thrifting, if you see an old
Yes,
shaving mug like that, like I would never known.
that they made those, right.
Now,
Yeah.
do you think they're marked on the bottom?
Uh,
Of
I
gold
I I did look, and that's a very good question. And they had some kind of a stamping on it, like
Mhm.
maybe for hulls, like to the mold thing, but it didn't say Hull on it. But they had a paper sticker on the bottom that advertised Old Spice. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
The company, they made these for them, and it wasn't about Hull putting their name on it. Do you see what I'm saying?
right.
It was
Yeah,
about,
because
Yeah.
they were just
they were
commissioned to do it right.
Yeah.
absolutely, right.
Yeah, gotcha.
That's exactly what it was. But th those iconic, now these early ones are pottery. Now the ones that came later, they I don't think they are. And I don't know if Hull made them after a particular certain run. Like
Mhm.
these are the really old ones. Like I said,
Right.
look at the date, it's like 1937, and I think they kept making them into the 40s, but then, I don't know if it continued on much after that. You know what I'm saying? I think it might have been a limited thing that they did for.
How long did they do that for? Did you say? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Well, the contract, they got it in 1937,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe they continued making them into like the 40s.
Oh, the 40s. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
but then beyond that, because it changed, these um, I'm pointing, but you can't see my pointer. These are pottery, whereas some of the
Right. Yeah.
newer ones are like a glass, like a ceramic,
The
or
ceramic.
it's
These are
different. Like
pottery. Right.
if you put the two together, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what they look like now. Yes, thank you, Poodle. Right, she said they have a USA stamped on the bottom. Yep, that's
Okay.
and then originally when they were produced, they had a paper sticker on it.
Mm.
Thank you. I meant to include that. You know, the details. Like I try,
No, you're doing
You're
good.
great.
but there you go. That was a fun little aha moment for me.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
Mhm.
So I will be looking for them now.
Yeah.
yeah, we'll look for the old ones.
Yeah.
Try and
Yeah.
The
find the
old
really
one.
old ones. I
Mhm.
don't think the newer ones have much value unless, and
Yeah.
then they produce so many of these, there's probably a lot of them out there. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, when I was looking around, I found that there are many. There, to be honest, unless they're in really good condition and really, really old, they're not really that valuable, like for resale. But if somebody wanted to collect them, but it'd be fun, a novelty thing to have. And Heather, where'd you go?
I'm right here.
Oh,
She was
I'm
pouring
like,
some
I'm
things.
like, where'd you go? All right,
Yeah.
I'll wait till she gets back before we move the other slide
Oh
over.
yeah, no, she's right here.
I'm right here.
She was just pouring a drink, and it was making a loud noise. So
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me go get it. Moving on.
Ah.
All right, now
Oh, do you have one of those? The little
here
red.
no, but I like those.
here is where it gets a little bit interesting. Why I wanted
Mm.
to talk about. Someone said, did they hire women? Yes, not only to do the work in the plants, but this particular person was a designer. So we can't talk about Hull without talking about this run of Little Red Riding Hood, which you can
Yes.
see they began in 1943 and they kept producing it until 1957.
Wow.
So just to read it, it says it's one of the most popular lines that Hull produced. I wonder, does anybody like, are people in the chat like, did you know this? Did you know about these Little Red Riding Hood pieces and that they were Hull? Those are very valuable. If you ever, that's why
Mm.
I wanted to kind of include this too, because again, it doesn't look anything like the Hull we know. But
No, it
anyway,
doesn't. No.
all right. So the basic original cookie jar design for Little Red Riding Hood was created by Louise Bauer, and we're going to talk about her also. Um, she received the design patent in 1993. I mean, she had designed it, she applied for the patent, and then she assigned the design patent to Hull Pottery.
Mm.
Um, they which they sold them between 43 and 57. Now here's where it gets interesting. Hull only made the blanks. The decoration was done by Royal China and Novelty, which was part of Regal China Corporation. So they made these molds, they shipped them off to where Regal China is, where this was.
Hmm. Huh.
I don't remember that. Maybe we can. I didn't write that down because that wasn't. I didn't think it was that interesting. And apparently they sent them back, or however they were distributed. Um, however, the what am I trying to say here? Yeah, they originally just produced the cookie jar, which you see on. I can't point, but you can see it's on the lower
Yeah.
right.
I
That's
Mhm.
the
think I think
original.
the Royal China Company is in Ohio.
Right. Well, okay. So Hall was in Clarksville, Ohio, as well. I thought they were shipped out of state, but they were probably just shipped to a different.
And it is at
Um,
Sebring. It's at Sebring, Ohio.
Very good. There you go. Different, just a different. What do you call it?
Yeah,
City.
Royal China Company, Sebring, Ohio.
There we go. So that they initially just released the cookie jar, it was so huge. It was one of their major successes, that they went on to, uh, actually design and create the full line. But that's not what originally came out in 1943. These other pieces that you see, the salt and pepper shaker, that's on the left. The one next to it is just another
Mhm.
little jar.
Mhm.
The one next to that is a little teapot. There and there are many different, iterations, I guess, of this, or different the way they painted the face, and also these were very much, what do you call it? Like, faked. So you have to be really, really careful
Yeah,
about
Mhm.
someone did mention that they were reproduced.
they were reproduced, they were fake.
Sylvia,
Yes,
yeah.
so finding yes, absolutely, that's the other thing. And Lisa says, "So they started making them during World War II." Yeah. Like I said, I don't think the plant ever closed or anything except for that fire, and then, of course, when it closed for good. But I wanted to include this because it really is a pivotal part, and this particular, designer, um, I did a little more research into her and discovered that she actually designed other, um, lines for Hull, and
Mm.
that's gonna be the I'm gonna go get the next slide because that's what that's all about. And I know that this might look like or seem like a lot, but I wanted to visually put this up there so people could kind of read along with it, or if they wanted to, um, like, screenshot it or whatever to learn more about her, because this is to me, this is a really important, uh, designer. So as you can
Mhm.
see, she was she was born in Zanesville, Ohio in 1914, and, she received a scholarship to Columbia School of the Arts in 1937. So she went on to work at Shawnee Pottery, which I thought was kind of
Oh,
interesting,
cool.
because they're all around there. And then later as a freelance designer for several prominent potteries. So she designed for other potteries as
Huh.
well. But then she went to work, as you can see there, at Hull in 44. Apparently
Mm.
they you never knows, poodle. Well, look, but, she exclusively, I guess, went to work for Hull. I don't think she was doing any freelancing anymore. And then she stayed with them until they closed in '86. So what is that? She was there for at least 40 some odd years. Yeah, over 40 years. And she was the creative genius and principal designer at Hull. What did I yeah, for over 40 years, and she created some of, their most popular lines. So, she, is credited with creating the bow knot line, which I'll show you an example of that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's why I was like, "Oh, well, I thought she just designed the cookie jar." So that's why I investigated a bit more, and I wanted to highlight this and showcase her. And then Ebtide, which I've got examples of that. That's a fun thing that I've been teasing Heather with. And,
Mhm.
and then, that particular line, oh, also woodland. We all know what woodland is, and if you don't, when I show it to you, you'll go, "Oh, yeah, that's
Mhm.
that's the line I know."
Right.
But the Ebtide line, as you can see, it was selected best in show in a 1955 Pittsburgh competition.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, of course, her most notable line was Little Red Riding Hood. She designed hundreds of other novelty vases and planters. You know, uh, her prolific career put her at the forefront of the pottery industry, and she certainly left her mark on history because
Mhm.
we can see. And this is what it was so lovely. She passed away in 2008, but she was 93.
Wow.
It's
Oh,
pretty
wow.
had a pretty amazing long life.
Yeah, it's a long
Mhm.
life.
Yep. And, we get to enjoy her beautiful pieces, her legacy lives on. So
Yeah.
I wanted to showcase this, and the piece on the top, that is bow knot on the left,
Okay.
blue and green.
Mhm.
Obviously, the one in the middle is Little Red Riding Hood, and then the one on the end is, um, woodland. So
Okay.
I just included those up there. But that's, let me see if there's anything else I wanted to say about this lovely person. Yeah, so we're gonna move on to the actual art pottery lines. Let me see, a bunch of people town. I'm just reading the chat if it's okay.
No, of
Yeah,
course.
go ahead.
And Poodle's like, we appreciate you, Louise. Yeah, that I really thought it was important to highlight this particular individual, and I wanted to say that there were probably many people that freelanced, um, designed for all of these different companies. It wasn't just like one, and then they may have had in-house
Mm-hmm.
designers, but each of the designs that they created all had patent numbers, and they wanted them patented so people wouldn't be stealing it.
Stealing them, yeah.
Right, right.
Right. So that was the important reason, I believe, for the patent on these designs. Like any design things that you probably wouldn't even think about the fact that something you buy and use every day has a patent on it.
Right.
Right. So let me get the next slide. Hold on a minute. Of course, my voice is going to be cracking because I'm talking a lot. All right. So this lovely bit of pottery here.
I'm gonna make this big.
Yep.
There you go. Yeah.
All right. The reason I began with this,
That's cool.
she said, my father designed for many companies, never got public praise. There you go, Poodle. He's 22 patents. That's amazing. And Slubby says, this is so interesting. Thank you. Well, thank you
It
for
is very
saying that
interesting.
and enjoying it. I picked this particular because this is one of their early art pottery lines. And I picked this one for various reasons. Uh, that's pronounced. I had to look this up because, hey ho, I didn't know it. You pronounce that Sueno. It's
Oh,
actually
so yeah.
a Spanish word, or
Huh.
and it me. I don't know why they picked that, but the meaning of it can mean the translation of it can mean ideal
Mm.
or dream or just sleep. But
Huh.
I had to,
Okay.
it's very strange why they picked that. So
Yeah, that
I
is kind of strange.
Sueno. Sueno. Yeah, I had to look
Sueno.
it up because
Sueno.
it has one of those little
Okay. I
little
think I've heard
things
of
of
Sueno. Like Sueno.
Sueno, yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Anyway,
Okay.
so
Hmm.
this particular line, as it says, this was matte, hand-painted tulip decoration with shaded blue bases with pink, cream, or blue tops, and there was 15 pieces, and if you look in that ad, don't look at the bottom row, and don't look at that funny horn thing. All the pieces above that are the 15 pieces. That's actually a pretty small
Wow.
run.
Yeah.
And I found examples of all of those except the little handled baskety thing
Mm.
that's on
Huh.
the second row to the right. Um, however, and the reason 1938, you know me, I love the 30s. But I
Yes.
thought that this really depicted, if when we go through and we're going to look at uh, images of them, or the other images that I have, the collections of this particular line, you'll notice a lot of like deco influence. It's really there. The art deco influence is quite strong. And then also tulips. Tulips were huge in that during that time period, like in the 30s and 40s. There was a huge 2 lines out. Oh, I will read that. Yeah, tulips were a huge design element during that time. And
The bud vase.
yeah,
Oh, the bud
oh, there's
vase.
my vase. 2 lines down, third one, bud vase.
The
Oh, well,
bud
when I
vase.
show the bigger picture, you tell
It'll
me
be
what it
there.
is when
Okay.
I
Okay.
show the next one. But that's one of the reasons I picked this is I would love to find some of these pieces because
Yeah.
these kind of
Yeah.
really speak to me, and they're one of the oldest art pottery lines that they created. Yeah, and the so different from the other ones that we're going to look at. So let me go get the next photo.
Oh.
All right.
Um,
Yes. Isn't that lovely? Now, um, was it I'm sorry, was
so
it Melody? What is it, the
yeah,
one in the
melodies. Yeah, the
is
one
it
in the
any of
middle.
those?
I think it's the one in the middle on the top.
Pictures? Well, you can tell me when she answers, but
Mhm.
aren't these absolutely gorgeous? And of course, putting them in this slide, they're not to scale. I just made each one of them fit, meaning
Right,
Of
as
sure.
you
course,
Yeah.
there's some of them were smaller and larger and all of that business. So these particular, we talked about marking.
Yeah,
Hull
she said the top middle one, but mine is in
is
blue.
blue, right? Does it have, like, the pink on it? Because I read they had different colorways on
Mhm,
these,
mhm.
and I have another set. But they Hull stamped these just USA with an S,
Oh.
and then the style or mold number. And we're gonna I
Mm,
have an example of that, and when somebody said, "Were all the pieces marked?" Yes and no. These happened to be marked, but it didn't say Hull. It
mm.
just said USA, and, oh, I take that back. I apologize. They were stamped Hull, USA. This particular one did have it. There's another one that doesn't say Hull,
Okay.
okay.
and I misread that. And then, yeah, remember, Heather, we were talking about what's those things mean on the bottom? Well, we're gonna talk about the
Right.
different stamps and what but here you are. This is the first slide. I've one more, but these pieces are just so different and unique and really reflect the design of the times. I mean, doesn't this just like scream 1930s? It
Oh,
Mhm. Oh,
definitely.
yeah.
it does
Yeah.
to me.
With those handles and little like loopies. Yeah.
Yeah, it just the one on the bottom, the left there, that suspended thing, that
Yeah,
just
that's really
that's
cool.
it really is. And the one in the middle, I mean, this is the thing. Who Somebody designed this. I mean, somebody dreamt this up
Mhm.
based
Right.
on, and the one on the bottom right, it almost looks like a heart. Then it's got this blossoming like flower thing at the top, and then it's got
Yeah.
the wings, like those fins. I mean,
Yeah,
Mhm.
they are right.
They're amazing.
yes, Sylvia, thank you. And did they always design them with different patterns front and back? Yes. On the reverse, most of the pieces like these on the reverse, and I didn't show the reverse because for heaven's sakes, we would be here all day, all night.
Right. Yeah.
It and that's something that you can discover on your own. What I'm showing is, and Heather can show because we're gonna look at the pieces real quick,
Yeah.
at the end. She can show you that the back did yes, they had a different design on the back.
On the back. Yeah.
Right. So, as you can see, this is the other one. This is, um, different from what I just showed you, although they're very the design within the line the
Mhm.
design within this design line, they're very similar. They're meant to kinda complement and go with each other.
Mhm. And
And then you can
this is the same
this
line.
is still yeah, this is still Sueno, right?
Mm.
And I like I said, I found there was 6 on the first slide, 6 on this one, so that's 12, and then I had 2 in the beginning, that's 14, and I was
14.
only missing 1 because there was
Mm.
15 pieces in this.
I like the first one, the with the blue.
Yeah, that's pretty.
It's very pretty. And here's another thing, if you guys keep an eye out for this because this is their one of their older potteries, and in looking at it, you might go, "Yeah, that looks like Hull," but, um, there again, keep your eyes out for that. I have one only marked USA. Yes, right, Jenny. Yeah, there is one that I'm gonna show that they only marked USA. It's interesting how
Mhm.
or why, and then they changed the marks quite a bit. The print and then, cursive and all different, um, there was many different stamps.
Mhm.
Anyway, all right, moving on to we're kind of doing this, yes, some resembled Roseville shapes. Exactly. Well, they all kind of copied each other like the
Mhm.
glass makers did. Um, this particular, now I chose this because Heather and Shane actually have vase 7. That's one
Mhm.
of the pieces that they have. And it's basically called Magnolia Matte, and they produce that between 46 and 47.
Do you have that written down somewhere?
And oh, well, wait, yeah, I can give you all that too.
Yeah, go ahead. We're good.
It just says, embossed hand decorated floral on matte pastels of pink and blue or dusty rose and yellow. And this had 27 pieces. And I wanted to read a little bit about, or I had to make notes here, of course. can't memorize all of it, but how Hull achieved that matte finish, because it was unusual, because a lot of pottery was typically very glossy.
Mhm.
So they achieved it by utilizing a process that involved firing low fire clay at a specific temperature. And that's what was crucial. It had to be this low firing clay. And a lot of times they applied an underglaze.
Mm.
So you have that piece with you and you'll see what I mean. It's like it has a somewhat of a smooth texture, but it's actually considered like matte and not gloss.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah,
Is it?
the
Mhm.
piece that you see in this image also, that's their console bowl number 26. And like I said, we're gonna talk about the marks
Mm.
on the bottom and how you can identify this pottery. It's pretty easy to do, but you
Mm.
need to know it or you need to get a book. And thankfully I have the book.
Yes, you have the
Oh,
book.
yeah, I highly recommend that if somebody's gonna collect this and people probably already know this, and I'm probably preaching to the choir, but get a book because they're each one of these pieces has a mold, like a stamp and a mold name or whatever, um, style number, mold number,
Mhm.
and it identifies it also the line that it's in. Yeah. So here you see, here's kind of where we're getting into um, the very again the pastel shapes. That particular colorway, as you can see, was hugely popular, and that's what I was saying to Shane, is the 40s. This is very typically early 40s, and you can see it in the
Mhm.
design,
Yeah.
and also what's interesting is um, the nature elements. They're using a bit of, like, classical design, but then they're also using, to me, when we were talking about Majolica and Art Deco, or excuse me, Art Nouveau, they this kind of has a nice, combination of both Art Nouveau, and I'm not saying it's like Art Nouveau inspired. I'm not calling it Art Nouveau, and I'm not calling it Art Deco. It's just that they've taken inspiration from other design decades, to create this, because we all kind of recognize these shapes. It's like they weren't reinventing the wheel. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Right, right,
These are all classical shapes. So this is the line that you have that one piece in, and
right.
I'll go get. Here's the other. Now, as it said, they created it in two, and this is another thing to look out for.
Oh,
They
yeah, and
created it in
yellow.
the two different colorways, the yellow with the rose and the blue with the pink. And I thought these
Mhm,
were really
mhm,
pretty. And then you can see that these are different designs from the all in the same line, all Magnolia matte, but they and then these particular shapes could also have been produced in the other colorway. Did she mute me as well?
and
You're
I
muted,
don't think
Lisa.
so.
Oh, you can do that. I mean, go ahead, do what you need to do. I was just like, yeah, Jenny says, "I would use the word inspired." Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's not true of, either of those design
Mhm,
styles. They simply are drawing on classical design, a bit of Art Nouveau design and a bit of Art Deco, and that particular era, as you know, that design style, as it was with glass, was huge during that time
mhm,
period.
mhm.
I don't see the yellow as much. Yeah, I know. I didn't.
I've never
Don't
seen
you
a
don't
yellow
you
one.
don't
No,
typically see that out in the wild.
no,
That's why I
it's
thought it was
beautiful.
very interesting to showcase that,
Yeah,
because
that's
we
very
always
pretty.
think of the pink and the blue, and
I
it's
like
like,
I
no,
like this one. I like
it
the I
is
like
really
the one
pretty.
on top
I
with the
prefer
white.
this, yeah,
Mhm.
over the pink.
I think we've had a teapot, not that one, but a whole teapot that from that shape with that little handle
Mhm.
thing or
Oh,
little.
did you? Yeah,
I
and
think we did at one
probably
point
have, yeah.
and sold it.
So the next one here, I wanted to quickly say
Mhm.
that the Magnolia matte, I neglected to mention that it is stamped Hull Art, and I have an example of that. Hull Art USA. This is when they started to add the art to it, and it has a W, a dash, and then the style number are blank.
Mm.
If you look at, like, the vase that she has, we'll look at that at the end, and you'll see what I'm talking about. All right, this next piece, this is also a piece that Heather and Shane have, and it's
Hmm.
called Wildflower, and they produced this in between 46 and 47. You can see that these things really didn't run them forever and ever. They were produced in that 1-year period. So this has a semi-gloss finish,
Mhm.
uh, artware with tinted backgrounds of blue, pink, or
Mhm.
yellow, and russet. Again, those same colorways, sort of. Raised hand-decorated floral and yellow, pink, and white. And there were 22 pieces in this line.
I'm taking notes.
And this, well, you can go, yeah, yeah, absolutely. I was reading Poodle's thing. I'll have to go back
Yeah.
and read. Hold on.
That's really interesting, Poodle. I'll have to watch that documentary.
Titus.
Tired.
Yes, that's what I was saying. I need to go back and watch it. All right. Well, Wildflower, they have a piece of this as well. This is making me want to collect even more Hull.
I
Well,
know, right?
Exactly.
Me
Yes.
too.
it really. I think even in my reading that I was doing, they were saying it's like the most you're probably going to disagree, and I do too. The most underappreciated pottery companies of the great pottery companies, that existed. We're talking about the Ohio pottery companies,
Mhm.
Roseville, all of the ones that most people also collect. All right, so there is that, and that particular Wildflower, it is stamped Hull Art as well. It has a
Mhm.
W on the bottom. You can see this is vase W1. Excuse me, 1 or 4?
4.
4. Okay,
W4.
it's so tiny on my screen. Yeah. Um, y that's your vase. You have that.
Yes.
That's
We
the one
do.
you have. Right. So, let's go grab the next one. All right, again, moving through the designs here.
Mm.
Um, again, you can see that they they didn't really repeat, um, within, and this is they did not really repeat the designs from other lines within each line. Does that make sense? Like, these are
So,
exclusive, except the only other one that they borrowed from was Bow Knot, and we'll talk about that. Meaning, if you were to look at the Magnolia matte line, they don't have the shapes. There's none of the shapes that would be similar.
okay,
They're
yeah.
all
Even
different
the shapes were different in each design.
within the each line. Yeah,
Gotcha. Oh,
and
that's
these are
nice.
crazy. I mean, again, this is like screaming 1940s to me too. And I
Right.
just
Yeah,
think
the pink. Yeah, Jenny. The pink is very popular. You find it
yep,
everywhere.
it must. Yeah, I guess because during that time period, pink and blue were huge design colors in the
Possibly, yeah.
40s. Yeah, not not so much the yellow versions. I think the molds themselves are different. Yeah, exactly, Joan. Right, they're all these different molds. Sh- You guys know what I mean. Maybe I'm not finding all the best words
You're doing good,
to do,
KP. You're doing
but
good.
yeah. Um, yeah, each of the molds was created f- for each of the separate lines, and they really didn't use the same molds in other lines, except for this one that I discovered, and that's the bow knot, where uh, those molds were used in a different line. All right, let's move on. Oh, here we go. Yeah, here's the yellow colorway, and look at this bottom one. On the left here, the bottom left, that is a wild shape.
That is,
That
yeah.
that it, the thing is, yeah, the organic kind of shapes that they were using. This is
Right.
not when you think of, like, um, really a straight up Art Deco. It's all very angular. It's very, pointed. You know what I'm saying? Art
Yeah.
Deco is very linear, and this is very curved and natural. Not
Yes, you
only are the
just said my
designs
favorite. Yeah.
not only are the designs all florals, nature inspired, but the actual mold, excuse me, the actual shape and the mold, you can see some, like I said, classical influences. It's just beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah, the pink is too frou-frou for me. Yeah, I agree, Briar. I would like these tones better. This yellow and
Yellow.
russet tone,
Yeah.
Mhm.
pottery thing.
That's the
Great
first
to
time I've ever
find those.
seen it in yellow. I've never seen yellow.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
It's
Well, maybe
beautiful.
you'll find it now that
Maybe now, yeah.
So I hope I find that
you
bottom
will find
left.
it.
Beautiful.
All right. So this is the next piece, and
Oh,
this is that's your piece, vase. I
no.
Does it say 116? It's so tiny on my screen because I'm in the studio. Vase one. Yeah, you have that vase, and this is
Yeah.
called. They named it, as you can see in the ad. It says art pottery, as lovely as the bride. So they were marketing these to as wedding gifts.
Mhm.
Um, It's the new Magnolia, or AKA Magnolia Gloss is what they kinda called it, from
Huh.
47 to 48. So, again, embossed floral decoration, hand painted either pink or blue or pink, but that's just the floral. The
Mhm.
all over glaze was pink. The transparent glaze or whatever, it was that pink. It didn't matter if the flowers were painted blue or pink. Anyway, there was 24 pieces in that design. I
Oh,
tried to
Wow.
very
include
nice.
these little ads, so you can
Yeah.
kinda see how they were originally, marketed in magazines.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and um, this particular design, the way it's stamped, and you'll see on
That's
their piece,
yeah.
it's
Mhm.
stamped, differently. The way that
Yeah.
the USA, sometimes it was on the top, sometimes it was on the bottom, sometimes, the way that they configured the stamps, the bottom stamp, was different on each of these. So this is stamped USA, then Hall Art in the center,
Mhm.
and then below that an H, a dash, and then the style number. So they're calling this H, which has nothing to do with, like, the other ones were like W for wildflower, or
Nice swans. Yeah.
and then the Magnolia mat that just had a number. It didn't even have a letter. So as you can see, again, this particular design, when I say it wasn't really repeated, the design of the top one, the double of vase, that one,
Mm.
the ewer in the middle, and the center bottom, that shape was repeated, not in other design lines, and it's
Mhm.
that recognizable shape, and you go, "Oh, yeah, that's Hull," but they didn't use the same mold. They just repeated this type of design.
Mhm.
And here's one that Shane might enjoy, or anybody that
Mhm.
likes swans. Look at those handles
Yes,
on the bottom left. Those are swans.
it's amazing.
That's really
I
cool.
need
That
to
is
find
cool.
that one.
You should, yeah. 607
That is amazing.
Anyway, again, very pretty, and we've got that piece to show you at the end. Now, um, here's another interesting thing that they did. They added gilding. They added gold to some of
Mhm.
these pieces, as you can see, but that wasn't what I read is it wasn't really done at Hull. They had, I think they sent those out to these various, um Hazel's attic. Oh,
Mhm.
Hazel's here.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Hello, Hazel. Good to see you. Nice. Thanks for
How are you,
popping in.
Hazel?
But as you can see, yeah, some of them were gilded, some of them weren't. It was a they I think they uh, commissioned somebody else to do that for them, because that's, like, not fired on. It's, like,
Right.
painted on
Yeah. Yeah.
afterwards, right? So after the process, and you'll find them both ways, with decorating, without, and this is what I was saying, how you see some of the flowers are blue, some of them are pink, and it could be that same vase, but it has a pink flower. I mean, they just mixed and matched the designs when they were producing them. It was, whoops, what is there something I need to know?
No,
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 nope.
no,
Oh,
we're
okay.
saying hi to Elizabeth too. She was
Oh, okay.
posting.
Yeah, and you can see that the the this is all hand painted. The flowers are all hand painted and the leaves and all of that. That's done um, before they actually
Mhm.
dip it in the final glaze.
Oh, we had that one.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
and that yeah, you'll see. And then now this is the bow knot, and this is the one that,
Mm.
Louise, designed.
Oh my
And
god.
this is
Mhm.
1949. Again, embossed floral on duo-toned matte, again with the matte finish,
Just
not
showed.
not with the glaze, finished pastel body colors of pink and blue or turquoise and blue. And when I show you some of these images, the turquoise and blue, that is a wild combination. These are super bright. And I guess, as we're ending the 1940s, it's after the war, um, the colors start to move into like that 1950s territory, I think, a little
Mhm.
bit.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Hmm.
yeah, that I've just labeled that basket. It's the
Mhm.
same one that's in the ad,
That's
which I
cool.
which I thought was kind of fun. All right, so here you go with these kind of, to
Yeah,
me, kind of a
and
little bit garishy. I mean, we're really getting,
not as dark then.
Hmm.
uh,
Can you
again,
wash the ones?
what can you wash the ones that feel like a bisque? Um,
Yeah,
yeah, they're glazed. It's just the matte glaze.
Yeah.
Is that what you're referring to,
I
Poodle?
think so.
Because you
Yeah.
can put water in them. They're meant.
Mhm. Yeah, I wouldn't
That is
scrub
my
really hard, on them.
no, no, no.
Yeah.
You probably should just wipe them off. But
Mhm.
and Elisa says, that yeah, going into the 50s, pink and turquoise. Yeah, and that's exactly what I was saying. We kind of start up with that different colorway. Have you noticed it's not so much pastel-y anymore? Like they're really getting
Mhm.
bold here with
Yeah.
the colors. And while those look green, I think it's just the images I found. I think it's more blue toned.
Yeah, it's like
It's
it's a
it's
blue.
kind of it could even be the turquoise blue. But here again,
Mhm.
this design in the center with the big bow, that's kind of a new one for them. And then they had this plate, like like a wall plate.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
neat.
then these big loops, if you look at the handles on that one on the top right,
Mhm.
there again, like I said, who she was quite the designer, this particular woman. And here's where it gets really wild in this line. That's your like the turquoise and you know, I don't think I would want to collect that, but somebody might like it. But we're really kind of getting into that 1950s here.
Yeah,
Again,
that's a wild
different
color coming.
shapes. Yeah,
Mhm.
I wanted to include this because it was one of her designs, but also because it's so different from the other ones
Yeah,
that we looked at.
I kind of like that color.
Mhm.
Yeah, I bet in person it would be kind of pretty.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Um,
wild. Yeah,
like maybe
I like
maybe
the horn in the bottom.
the bottom left.
Yeah.
That's what I was just about to say, is that I think that is a nice piece. That would be
yeah,
fun to find that one. The other ones are a little bit, they're just very, I guess it was just the taste and design style of that era. You know what I mean?
hmm,
And like the
yeah,
50, I'm not a huge fan of stuff from the 50s, but that's just me. Anyway, did I, whoops, wait a minute. Yeah, okay. Oh, I was going to mention that the bow knot, it says USA Hull Art in the center, and then below it a B, a dash, and then the style or blank number. So
Mhm.
hmm,
there again, they are marked, and those makes them easy to identify. And that's one of the reasons why I put the number and name on the screen. We're going into the Woodland series, which was initially came out in 1949, and this is the other design that Louise that she designed. And a lot of people don't realize that this woodland in the mat was
Mhm.
actually created in 1949, but then they tried to recreate it again after the plant burned down.
Mm.
And like I said, it says their pre-1950s items are noted for their matte finished, hand decorated florals in dawn rose and harvest yellow. So these are again with that particular colorway, and this is 30 pieces. A lot of the woodland that we see in the stores is the stuff that was produced in the 1950s. And I have an example of that, and that's the glossy, like the chartreuse and wine or whatever colors those were, and when I show them, you will see what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where they changed the stamp. It was stamped Hull in cursive when they used, again, I have an example of that. The cursive instead of the block print or whatever. And
Okay.
it had a W, no dash, but just the style number. So, yeah. But again, it seems like it's a little bit repetitive, but here's those shapes that we kind of look at and go, oh, that looks like Hull, like
Mm-hmm.
that double vase on the top, and then you've got
Mm-hmm.
the viewer on the bottom with those handles really remind me of like Art Nouveau
Oh yeah,
design.
definitely.
Yeah, this is where again they just borrow from all these different design elements, which is lovely, and it keeps them some Hager glazed. Yeah, it's very recognizable as a style, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Oh,
definitely.
definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like yeah, you look at that and go, if that's Hull.
that's all.
Now,
Yeah.
one other thing to just quickly note is notice the design on this particular the flower decoration, the floral on it. It changes when they because everything got ruined when that fire happened and the flood.
Mm.
So they had to remake the molds. So they couldn't repeat this one. They tried,
Yeah.
but they had to remake the molds, I
Something like
guess.
that. Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, here again, this is the yellow and green version of that. As we saw before, that was the other colorway. But I like this colorway, the green and the yellow. I think it's really pretty. Or with the kind of the russet thrown in, it's less it's less pastelly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of liking the wild colors.
Yeah, that's really pretty. And then, all right, here's
Oh.
the other piece that you have. It is
Mm-hmm.
vase
Sunburn.
88, and this is the piece that I was gonna shout out to Jenny because this is Sunglow, and it's stamped USA, and then just a style number, no blank, or excuse me, no letters or
Mm-hmm.
any of it. And yours will see that, and that's why people look at it and go, "Well, is that Hull or not?" It just says USA. There's no Hull on it
That's
anywhere,
awesome.
and
USA.
then just
It's
a
USA.
number, right?
Yeah.
And the other number on there, I'll explain what that is. I kind of told Heather there's other numbers on the bottom, but they aren't a
Mm-hmm.
design number. So yeah, right. So this is their vase and novelty assortment. The covered casserole you see there was a oven safe. They actually
Mm.
apparently started to produce some kitchenware in this pattern. And there again, 1952. We're moving through this kind of chronologically, so you can kind of see the influence, obviously, with
Yeah.
the colorways and all that. And yep, you have that piece. And
Mm-hmm. Yep.
let's here's more in that line. And there's
Yeah.
what's interesting is
That's very pink.
it is
Yeah.
well, it's like 1950s. I
Yeah.
maybe pink and yellow was a big
Big color
It
was a
combination.
had to
color.
be.
Yeah, as excuse me, as I said, they were highly influenced by whatever the popular
Mm-hmm.
style and decoration was of the time. I kind of read that earlier. They kind of designed the coincide. I mean, because who would be buying it if it if it wasn't
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
if it wasn't
They, they weren't
popular?
making it. I'm sure they had, people. They had to have the,
Maybe
finger on
Eisenhower
the.
pink. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, like anything, and also this stuff was, it's like glass during this era too. These were given as gifts and, like
Mhm.
wedding gifts and anniversary gifts and gifts. This was given. Um, and I don't know so much if people collected back then. Maybe they did. That would be an interesting thing. I don't think they had that mindset because this wasn't old to them. This was new. It's like us going out and collecting stuff from like Target.
Right.
Mhm.
It's like, yeah. So, anyway, y you have that piece, and then here is
Oh,
the
wow.
yellow
That's
colorway.
yellow.
And here what I was going to say is, you notice that basket on the bottom there, left, that was the same mold as bow knot.
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
changed the floral on it
Mhm.
a little bit,
Huh.
and yeah. So, here you've got, like, a kitchen piece. This is the thing on the top center is like a little, wall pocket, and the other thing is obviously a pitcher. So they were starting to make, more utility items in this particular line. It wasn't just,
We had something like
decorative.
that too, that
Yeah,
jar.
it's a grease jar.
The grease
Yeah.
jar. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
We
we
had
had those.
the
That's
grease
what I was
jar.
about
Yeah.
to say. Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
somebody.
I was
I,
gonna
I
say, I
don't.
think that's a grease jar when I was
I
thinking
Mhm.
don't.
about.
Can't remember who bought it. Ours was pink though.
It was
Yeah,
pink.
it was
Yeah.
probably just the other colorway
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
exactly.
it was in that colorway probably,
I think
right?
so. Yeah. I think it
Yeah,
was in that color, the pink with
yeah. It
the
was just
Yeah.
yellow.
recently too.
Yeah, it
Not too
wasn't
long
not
ago.
too long ago.
Well, yeah, that's
Mo bought
interesting.
it. I was gonna say. I bet
Who bought
somebody
it?
here bought it.
Oh,
Mo.
Mo.
Yes, Mo.
Oh, did Mo buy it?
Mo,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes, somebody was mentioning Weller. All right. This is,
Oh, wow.
this is worth mentioning again. This is the two-tone 1953, or even in after they rebuilt the plants. This particular green, the chartreuse, um, was this came out in 53. They did
Mm,
other colorways of this, but you can see the difference in the not only the floral decoration on it, the
right.
design, but this is a glossy glaze. What I read is that when the plant burnt down and they rebuilt it, they were trying to recreate the matte version of this. They did not have great success doing that, and it was very inferior. And some of those pieces, however, I believe they're out there, but they aren't great. They couldn't quite get the tones right, so the pastel tones on the earlier version of Woodland, so
Right.
they switched and went this way. And also, like I said, the design, the floral on it changed.
Mhm.
So they were either chartreuse with dark green or dark green with blue, and then rose and green accents. And that's really pink and green, isn't it? Like,
Yeah,
again,
definitely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
we're heading into the yeah, chartreuse is yeah, right, exactly. Lisa says chartreuse was huge in the 50s. The color. I like that console bowl though. That is kind of
Mhm.
pretty.
Yeah,
That
it
is
is
very
pretty.
pretty. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh,
again,
I like the blue.
I've seen the blue and the green
yes,
before.
there's your blue.
I like the blue.
I I think it is very pretty. So there's your
That's
three
our.
colorways.
We had a horn, I believe, with the blue color, blue
Did
and the
we?
green.
Yeah, I think you
So
have. Yeah, you've had some of
we've
these
had some
pieces,
Hull,
I'm
yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
we've had it. Yeah.
Like, too bad we don't still have them. We could have a
You'll
big
find
hole
some more.
still.
I know you'll find some more.
Yes, we will.
Sylvia says I haven't seen this one. Yeah, anyway, there's your three colorways, the chartreuse, then the pink and the blue.
Yeah.
And that was that.
Hmm.
And I only made one slide of this because um it isn't as notable. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It we're getting into the
Right.
50s. And I didn't go much further into the 50s except for this little special thing for
Oh.
this.
Well, look at
Many people
that.
know about this, but many people don't.
I didn't
Oh,
know
I was
that.
gonna say the woodland, it's stamped, the newer one, it's stamped the same way as the other one was, with the cursive Hull, and they use the same molds, they just or they named them the same because they weren't making that other line anymore. So they just, you know what I'm trying to say? They
Mhm.
still used the W and then, am I understanding that these pieces were not marked Hull? No, they were, many of the Lori, they were, this particular this is where it gets into that area of were all of them marked?
Yeah,
And
I
it
think
gets
that grease jar just had
this is
USA
where
on it.
right, well, I'm sorry, what did you say, dear?
I think the grease jar we had that Mo bought just had USA on it.
And that was Sunglow, right,
Yeah,
that's only
Yeah.
stamped USA and
yeah,
then just
that's right.
numbers.
Yeah,
Yep,
so that makes sense.
right.
Yeah.
So, when I say unmarked, it means there's nothing on it.
Mm.
When the question someone asked earlier, were all the pieces marked or were some of them unmarked? This is where you fall into that area of this particular line called Ebtide, introduced in 1954. It was all like this is a fantastic line, and the reason
This
I
is really
included
cool.
it is
Mhm.
because I think Heather and probably Shane too, but Heather's like or love of
Mhm.
ocean and things that are mimic, the sea. And
Yes.
this was hugely popular, this particular line.
And that's a
Um,
vase, that fish is a,
yes,
oh
it
my God,
is.
that's so
Mhm.
It
cool.
is. And to finish my thought, yet I've found
I
some of these
know, it's
pieces
little.
where they're not marked at all, and some of them just say Hull, USA,
Mm.
but, no number of what it no, and then some do actually have the stamp. Some of them have an E and a dash and then a style number. So,
Wow.
yeah,
Oh,
it's interesting how some of these and it comes in different colorways as well. So the colorways are
That's
chartreuse
cool.
and wine, and then and then shrimp and turquoise, and there were 16
What color
pieces
is
of this.
shrimp? I guess a
Well
peach.
It's like a
well, you're gonna
peachy
see.
pink.
Here it is.
Yeah.
Ah!
I
Oh
know.
my God!
I
Oh,
knew she was gonna go
I love the two
gaga
fishes
over
Oh
going
that.
my
down.
gosh, look at that. Oh wait, I have to take a
Isn't that a
picture.
pretty line?
Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
I
that
can see the thing like this.
top piece is a vase,
Wow,
the
that's
middle one is a console
awesome.
bowl, and then the
Oh, with
other
the
one is just a
snail.
little
Look at the
dish.
snails
I
on
love the
I
there.
know,
snails.
and that had candlesticks. I have a candle holders. I have another picture, but this is that, shrimp and whatever color it said it was. But
I
isn't that
love this.
something? That one on the bottom right is it's just a ewer, like a pitcher
Mm. Oh my
at
goodness,
the
yeah,
end
it
Oh
is a
yes,
picture.
with the fit. Oh my gosh,
with the
yes.
handle. Now
I
these
love
would
the
be
middle one. I love the
isn't
middle
that
one
isn't
with
that stunning?
with the swirl shell
Mhm.
and then that
Yep,
fish. Oh my gosh.
yep. That's why I when I kind of included these because this also was designed. Now here you can see the difference by Louise Bauer. She
Wow.
creates this, but then she creates that bow knot, which is so different, and then she created the, Little Red Riding Hood. So she had a really different I mean, her design styles were just kind of all over
So that
Yeah.
Louise, she's
the
the one
place.
that did these. Oh my gosh, that's so
Yes, she
cool.
did,
I love those snails.
yep, she did Little Red Riding Hood, Bow
Wow.
Knot, um, probably some others too,
Yeah.
but,
She had an incredible
Woodland,
imagination.
the original Woodland and this Ebtide, which won
Wow.
the award.
I
Yeah.
have never
Oh,
even
this won the
seen.
award. This is
I know.
amazing.
Well, hang on, because it gets even wilder and
Bigger?
crazier.
Oh. Oh.
Look at these. This is the other colorway,
Mm,
Oh
but
my
look at the colors.
gosh.
Oh my
and it's
goodness.
Look at those
really now
colors.
to
Oh,
me,
the candlesticks. Yeah.
when I'm yeah, there's the console bowl. So it
Mm.
came in these 2 different colorways. So you could have one piece and then the other one, and they don't even really the shape is the same, but the coloring on it is entirely different.
Has anyone seen any of these like on
In the
anyone's
wild, yeah.
in the wild in
Probably in an
anyone's
antiques
sales?
mall, maybe.
Like I don't
Yeah,
even
I'd like to
recall
know.
George the Nomad even like showing this. Anyone seen? And I'm just like shocked.
Aren't these stunning?
These are just absolutely
That
incredible.
middle one, it's a mermaid ashtray.
Yeah, that's so
Then there's
cool.
another vase at the top, the basket on the bottom, then the console bowl with
That
the,
the top right one is like beta fish, like
vase.
fighting fish. That's so cool.
It could be, I don't
I've
know.
seen the
I
basket, but never
yep,
the others.
yep. Now some of like I said, some of these had, um And this will be a fun thing for people
Poodle's
to
cracking a
explore.
beer.
What? What is she what? I'm
Poodle's
crack
cracking a beer.
Oh, well, enjoy. Heather's like, "Oh my goodness, there's a mermaid on the ashtray." I know.
Yes.
Don't you just love this? This was the little fun surprise that I said, "Heather, I got something that you're gonna love
Yeah.
because I know you like this kinda theme."
I
Yeah.
never, even in antique stores, I've never seen this in any antique
Yep,
stores either.
and
Yeah.
there's one more.
Oh, it's like
Look at the
purple.
shell teapot with the creamer and the
Yes, that's
sugar. Oh my
exactly what
goodness.
it is, with a
Oh
little
my
seahorse on it.
gosh.
There again, you've
Yeah.
got a mermaid, but it's a different bowl.
I love the big
Some of the
face.
designs are the same,
Mhm.
like the
Oh
fish
my
that you
gosh.
see in the center there, that's the vase,
That's
and it's the
me,
one that I
yes.
used. Now, I'm not yeah, that they had in that particular ad. I've
Mhm.
never seen any of many antiques, any at any of the yeah,
Yeah, I
I
haven't
know, I
seen
was
any of
blown
that.
away, and I have a feeling that I won't say rare because I have no idea,
Right.
but,
Yeah, I've never seen any
hard
of
to
this.
find, unusual, yeah, this line was pretty incredible. Now, let me
I have
see what
to go
this
on
last
eBay
one
and
is.
get a hint.
Oh, well, here you go. I included this because these were ads.
Oh, neat.
You can
Wow.
see that I think I found what you saw, the examples, I think I found all of
Oh, wow.
those pieces, and there's 16 pieces in this, and I believe maybe I didn't find all of them. Did I? No, that's 12. Oh, maybe I did find well, no, some of them were repeats, but
That's
you can see
beautiful.
the extensive, just the design element of it just blows me away because it's so
They're
unusual.
on it's on eBay.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
I
there's
bet you look
oh,
up
there's
on
a ton oh,
eBay.
yeah, there's a ton of them. Um, yeah, it would be wonderful to find these in the wild,
yes, it
It
would.
and
would, but I
and it
might be going on eBay tonight.
you may have to yeah, hold on.
Oh, the mermaid ashtray is
Yep,
$125.
there
Wow.
you go. I know. They're pricey, they're spendy.
Mhm. They
That's
are.
that's the
Oh,
thing is
there's the teapot.
The
There's
yep.
the
teapot
set
set.
$55 on eBay.
Yeah, this is probably one of the most, I would say, expensive whoops, well,
Yeah.
won't go on that, like,
Yeah.
collectible, expensive lines of haul, and if you didn't know it, if one didn't know it
Mhm.
and they, whoops, I know I'm moving around here. They, they wouldn't know that this was Hull, and then
Huh.
Right.
if you turn it upside down, maybe it's marked, maybe it's not. Do you know
Right.
how, I'm sorry, my voice is do you know how I think it's Royal Copley? They have those 2 bars that run on the bottom. Is that
Yeah.
right? Somebody can correct me. When you turn a
Yeah.
piece of Royal Copley over, I believe it's Royal Copley, there's those 2 little things like feet.
Mhm.
Yes.
Some of
Yeah.
these pieces have that.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I was gonna say
So
Hall has that as well sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if it's not marked and it has that and you don't know what this is, you might think it's a different company. Not
Yeah,
you, meaning
exactly.
one, like the greater you. So that's what's fun, and that's why it's great to get a book and then study or and look at these and go, "Oh, I know exactly what that is," when you see it.
Yeah.
That's Hull. That's Ebtide. That was created in 1953.
That's amazing.
Anyway,
Exactly.
alright,
Love it.
we're almost at the end and you can here, this is what I wanted to show you.
Okay,
So
cool.
the piece on the top is the piece that the the sisters have.
Mhm.
And that's what the bottom that's not your piece, but that's what because the one you sent me the picture, it was a little bit too, faded or whatever, like it didn't
Mhm.
come out really well.
Mhm.
So you can see it says Hull Art and then USA-1. So that means that that is a vase 1 or
Mhm.
mold 1, and then it says 8 something. That's how tall it is. Those
8.5.
last
Yeah.
numbers, that's the thing is people are yeah, and you can see it on the one on the bottom. That's just the height of it. That's the measurement. So then the one underneath that, you can again see that the stamp is slightly different. It says Hull Art, but USA is in the middle. This is the wildflower pattern. It says W. Obviously, you can read this -3, then -5.5 inches.
Mhm.
That's how tall it is. So the sun glow, and somebody had mentioned that the grease jar you had.
Yeah.
Do you see it says just USA and then 88? That's the mold number. And then 5, I can't read it. It's probably that vase is probably 5.5 inches tall or
Five
something.
and a half. Yeah.
Yeah. So then on the on the bottom, you can see where they switched in the original woodland. What did I say? 1949. They switched to that cursive hull,
Hmm.
and it's on the top. USA is on the bottom, and then in the center, you can see these are all different, and they are.
Hmm.
And it says W17, no dash, and that's 7.5 inches. So that's kind of the a variety of how they marked their items.
So when did they start doing the cursive hole?
Is that later or earlier?
The first thing that I noticed it on was 1949.
Okay.
The
Okay.
other because the other ones, remember we looked at them, and this
Right.
was the next in line. So
Gotcha.
just before the plant burnt down.
Yeah.
But then also, um, the one like the sun glow, that I think that was in later on into the 50s. That's not doesn't even have a hole on it,
Yeah, it doesn't need a
No, it
hole in it.
doesn't.
which is interesting. So I
Yeah, it
believe,
was 1950. Right. Exactly.
Mhm.
That's interesting.
yeah, whoops. I'm showing you my thing here. Let's get rid of that. Let's go back up this way. Okay. I believe that is my last slide. Let me look at my notes. Oh, the funny thing about Hall that I was going to mention earlier, Hall, not Hull, is that they're also located in Ohio. So
Mm.
there must have been something in the water there, or whatever, like they say. Was it the clay? Was it just that would be a fun thing for anybody to research, is why
Yeah.
all
Exactly.
of those pottery companies and plants kind of get what do you call it? Like localized in that
Hmm.
Ohio valley. That'd probably be Scott probably knows the answer off the top of his head, or somebody else, or George, But I didn't get that far. I left some things out because I wanted people to just go research it.
Yeah,
Go
no.
find out this for yourself. And if you'd like to show your pieces real quick, we're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Briar,
ugly
take
vase
your
didn't make the cut.
Briar,
Oh,
put
where?
your take a picture of it and put
Yeah,
it in our Facebook chat in our
Yeah.
Facebook
well,
page.
what is it, Briar? I meant to ask you about that. You said you had your grandmother's vase, and then I was so busy researching all of this that I forgot to ask you if you knew what it was, like the pattern. Do you know?
You'll be
Where is
down the
she?
rabbit hole. I know
Yeah,
it's amazing. I love
where is
Hall.
she?
I
Oh,
love
here we
Hall
are.
pottery.
Here we are.
But
I'm
yeah.
over in did, my ugly vase. Oh, she didn't answer yet. Okay.
No, she didn't answer yet.
I'm sure it's the parchment and pine. Yeah, I noticed that in the
Oh,
book.
parchment and pine. Okay.
And there again, you can research that's oh, they really departed from all the other stuff, didn't they, Briar? Like the design of that is very different. I didn't include it
Yeah,
because
I haven't heard of that one.
it was into the 50s. Like I said, I particularly pulled out the designs that you guys had and
Hmm.
the ones that were created by Louise because she was one of their prominent and notable
Oh, okay. Shane just
designers.
pulled up. Oh, it has like corn.
Yeah,
It's
she
not
can
corn, but
it's
like
and it's a
something.
cornucopia.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting it's very like lodge to
Is
me.
that it?
I think it's cool. I think they're kinda neat. I don't know if
Is
you
it like that, Briar?
yeah,
Oh, it's a cornucopia.
Oh, okay.
I think that's a
is
cornucopia.
that it? Yes, I believe that I believe that is the pattern, parchment and pine. Yeah.
Let's see. Cornucopia.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
take a picture and send it to me, and then I'll send it to the
Yeah.
girls, Briar, if you'd like.
Well, we actually. Hi, Harry.
Oh, is it
Yeah,
this?
same pattern, but different shape. Yeah, it's that shape that I was repeated many times in the other designs that I show you. It's the big, like the horn on the top with the circular bottom.
Is that
Yeah,
is that it?
like that.
Something like
Yeah.
that?
Huh, cool.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
I think it's pretty.
Yeah,
It's
that is
that's
very
very,
nice.
very kind of rusticy, and it's not
Yeah.
Yeah,
pastel. And
it is.
again,
I like it.
it's surprising that that's Hull, and it's
Hmm.
not that.
Mhm.
I guess also what I was trying to talk about is that it's not all that pastel
Right,
stuff.
right.
When you
Yes.
look at it and you go, "Oh, that's Hull." You know, like they did make other, and they made hundreds of designs and all
Mhm.
kinds of things. And that's I'll leave it at that. So you can
Yeah,
explore it the further if you would like.
Yeah.
definitely.
Do you want to quickly show the pieces that you have?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll show.
We're not going to
And we
sell.
actually have two surprises
Yes.
because we Shane and I had two pieces that are completely they're unsellable because
Yeah,
they're
they've been
so
broke and repaired, but
yeah.
very badly.
So I was gonna make ourselves big for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
go for it.
this is pretty. Which one you want to say? This is pretty cool because you just mentioned this. So I actually have a bow knot,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And
and
I had an image of that as
Yes.
yeah,
well. See, the
but you
bottom is
see,
kind of a turquoise. It is kind of a green.
yes, it's green,
Interesting.
but you can
Oh,
see
wow.
look at how that's the repair.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
this
these are in like really bad shape,
Yeah.
but I didn't know what this one was. I knew it was Hull because it has
well,
Hull
now you know,
on the
Yeah.
bottom.
and you can see. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's the bow knot,
Yeah.
which is made
It
by
is
that
so pretty.
designed by that Louise,
Mhm.
which is really cool.
Yes, ma'am. That's right. Now you know
And
a little history about that.
then this is did we say what this one was? This is the one
That
Shane has.
that's the magnolia mat,
Magnolia.
and I
Yeah.
believe I had a picture,
Yeah.
um well,
Yeah.
you oh, turn show the just show the back because
So
people are
back,
saying, "Is
yeah.
it different?"
The
And you
back
can
is
see the
good. Yeah.
design is different
Yeah, because it
Mhm.
than
closed
the front.
Magnolia.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um,
Now is this the swan handles?
Oh.
uh, not quite.
No, not
No,
quite,
Quite,
but
no.
no,
similar.
not like the other
Yeah.
ones. Bit
Yeah, the other one's like real
Yeah.
swans,
And
right?
this is the back of that one.
right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
that's wonderful that you
Yeah.
have those and now you know something about them and
Yeah.
that you gave
So
them a home.
Yes.
yeah, I think we actually got them from Buy Nothing.
Yeah. Or yeah, something like that. Yeah. Someone
Something
was giving
because
them away.
they're so cracked and repaired, and
Yeah, they were
this
just
one's a
giving
really
away.
bad repair on that one.
Yeah, somebody
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's
but
okay.
Well, and too,
I
unfortunately, that old glue, when it's new, it probably didn't
yes,
look that way, but it doesn't age well. If you've seen any piece
right,
that's been repaired, it's got that
yeah,
weird
it's got the
staining on it.
yeah,
Everybody's saying thank you and all of that. We
You did
appreciate
amazing,
it.
Casey.
yeah,
Hmm.
Um, yeah, just quickly show you your things, and then we can
yes.
sign off if
So
you.
this one is the wildflower.
Hmm.
Yep.
This one's in good. So all of these are going to come up for sale. What next Tuesday?
Next Tuesday.
We're going to have these in our live auction next Tuesday, so that if you like these, you can purchase them next Tuesday. This one is the wildflower.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah,
And if you
definitely.
look at it, the yep, it's there's the number on it. It's like W and then whatever. It's that face.
W4.
And
Mhm.
I can I can send you the ID if you want.
I wrote it
Header on all
down.
of them.
Yeah.
Oh, you already wrote it down. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's
Now
why I've used those.
this one's in really good condition. This one has no chips or cracks on it.
Yeah.
This is in really good condition.
It's beautiful.
And it's more like a mauvey pink, that one.
Yeah.
That's not a pinky pink.
Yeah.
Yep. That
Now this is the new magnolia
mhm.
With the gold.
with the gold
Gilding on it. Yep.
Mhm.
You can see the
gilding.
way that's hand done
Yeah.
with a
Yeah,
brush
Oh, yeah.
on there.
Yeah. And that one's in really good shape too. I don't think there's any chips or cracks, and all the gold is really good.
this is in great condition. There's the bottom of that one.
Oh my goodness, poodle.
So exciting.
Well, Poodle, I hope to see you on Tuesday.
Yes. And thank you, Brenda. That was very sweet.
Yeah,
To
this
say
I
is
that.
know.
And
I'm
yes,
pretty worried too,
I have a
poodle.
whole new respect for Hull as well.
Hmm.
That's what I oh,
yeah.
quickly, I was just saying before you said
Yeah.
some of those pieces, didn't they, like, especially the Ebtide, didn't those remind you of, like, Majolica pieces? It's not
Yeah.
Majolica, but the
But yeah.
glaze, the
Mhm.
Yeah.
intricacy of that kind of glaze that they used of some of the yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
This is the sun
they
glow.
all borrow from everybody.
They do.
This is the Sun Glow.
Hmm.
Now this one does
Yes.
have a chip
Yep.
there on the back. This would be the back.
Yeah,
This
just,
is the front.
you know, what are you gonna do?
Either way,
Either
it's
way, you
gonna
want
be
to do
Where
it.
are you gonna go? What are you gonna do, right?
right. It's
It
gonna
is
be
anyways.
there.
But this has got the really nice winged handles on it.
Oh, thank you, Sylvia.
So that's the
Yeah.
Sun Glow.
And that's one that just
Yeah,
says the US on the bottom.
Right, that
right,
just says
right.
USA.
Mhm.
It's the
At
glare.
Yeah, the glare.
Yep,
Yeah.
at first I was kind of hesitant about that, but then the more research I did, I realized that the whole line is like that. Um,
Mm.
that the
Well, that's
whole, there's
yeah,
none of them say Hull on it. Yeah.
right. Oh, great, Sylvia. Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was gonna mention that. Yes, thank you.
Okay, now this is the big. This is the large
Thank you,
magnolia
Briar.
mat.
Yeah,
So
this
the
is definitely the
Appreciate it,
matte. It's more
everybody.
like the bit,
Yep,
it's got
and
like
yeah, it's that
a little
matte
bit of a
finish that I was
roughness. Yeah.
describing.
hmm
It's funny because some of it is softer than other parts of it. So
Yeah, I think it's just
it
the
didn't,
finishing
yeah,
process
they just
of it.
didn't get it like even or whatever.
You
Now
It's
know,
this
still
one
it's
does have a chip up here
in here.
and on the side.
Yeah. But
So,
well, you know,
but this would be the front. So there's no chips on the actual
yeah,
front.
so it's up there too.
they're still beautiful and
So
Yeah.
beautiful.
usable,
Yeah.
and, you know, if you just wanna start to collect,
hmm
you know,
Yes, no, it
get
is
those
sun glow.
pieces, those broke the what do they call them? Like somebody calls them like, I won't say broken, but wounded bird. That's what they call them, the
Oh,
wounded
wounded bird.
birds. We have to
Oh,
give them
the
homes.
Luna bird. Yes.
Yeah, that's sweet.
I
I
am
think the
super
grease
excited
pot is
about this
Sunglow.
one.
Yes,
Yeah,
Mo. Yeah, that grease pot
Yeah, that was it's
Sunglow.
sun glow.
it's
Yep.
sun glow.
Mhm.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah. I think I
Yeah, I don't
remember
think
that
we
you had
realized
that
it was
now.
whole.
No, because it just said USA on
It
it.
just said
We
USA.
hadn't
Yeah, we
Yeah.
never
hadn't
looked. Yeah.
done Oh, Mo,
You
did
have
you
to get
buy
us
it?
a whole
I guess
book.
Mo bought
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, Mo bought
Justine,
it.
hi.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Great,
coming in.
Justin. I'm
I'm
glad
seeing all
glad
kinds of
you're
names in here
here.
that,
Yeah.
anyway, show your other piece. I'm sorry. I don't wanna be keeping
No, that was
anybody
it.
That
That
was
was all
it.
we got. That's all we have.
Yep.
Yep, you've got the 4.
Yep.
Yep.
The
The
four. Yeah.
four.
Yes. So there
Okay,
we
yeah,
go.
so, yeah, I'm over
That,
here in yeah, I'm over here
oh,
in
sorry.
the
There you go.
YouTube,
Mhm.
just
Brenda, why are you sad? Sad friends? I'm not sure what that.
sad
Don't
ones.
be
Sad
sad.
friend. Don't be sad.
Don't be sad.
Why are we
I
sad?
don't
Oh,
know.
right, Mo, yep. Yeah, it's interesting how you can go back and say, "Oh, I had that piece," or I've seen
Yeah.
that," or "Didn't we sell it?" And, you
Yeah.
know, those little, the little ducks or swans that you sold before? You've sold other whole pieces. Those are
Yeah.
made way
Yeah.
into the
Yeah.
'50s, so I didn't include those. Yeah, as you can see, I had to have a cutoff point
Yeah.
Yeah.
at
I
some
think
point to
Ginger
include
has
them.
those.
I think she does, but I
Yes.
didn't see her in
The
here.
ducks. Yeah.
But,
Those
yeah,
are
like I
cool.
said, there's so many, and then they made a bunch of, early utilitarian items that were like the canisters and the spice jars and all of that stuff, but, you know, we just
hmm
can't include all of it, like I
No,
said.
you can't, but it definitely gives you an idea of what to look for.
I'm glad this was worth
Yeah,
your time. I love
Yes.
that. It's so worth
this
my
this
time.
was
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
I'm glad of that.
Yes.
Yes.
that's
This
funny.
was
It
awesome.
was
It's definitely.
so worth my time. Well, I'm glad. She knows I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. I
Oh, okay.
appreciate
Sad
everybody's
friends.
remarks.
I get it.
Oh,
Brenda said sad
oh,
friends is
the
what she called
yeah.
Oh,
you.
okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I got
All
you
of that are
now.
sad
Okay.
friends.
Yeah. Sad friends.
Or like, our friend, I can't think of her name, forgive me, who wants like chipped or cracked. Remember,
Selena
we had
and
Selena.
Sandy. Yeah.
yes, you want
Yeah, Sandy.
all
Yeah.
the
All the chips and cracks.
chips and
They both do
cracks.
them. Yep.
Hmm.
I always keep the damaged pieces, just turn them around. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's pottery, it's fragile. It's like the glass gets chipped. People use these things, you know,
Hmm.
they were in their homes and it just happens,
It does.
and I
Yeah.
mean, nothing truly is perfect if you think about it. So,
Yeah. Especially when it gets to Goodwill and gets knocked around.
yeah, that could have happened when it
Yeah.
was donated. That's the other.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I appreciate everyone's comments and
Yeah.
everything that Heather and Shane have done and continue to do. We always have fun
Mhm.
doing this.
Yeah, it was
And
good.
yeah, I hope it appears everyone enjoyed themselves and
I think
I
so.
think they did. I think
Yeah.
they got a lot out
they
of it.
learned something
Yeah,
new.
we can't thank you enough, KP, for all the knowledge that you bring to us and all the
Mhm.
research
Oh,
you do
well,
for us. It's just amazing.
you're very welcome. It is absolutely fun for me too,
Oh, good.
and that's what this is all about, just sharing what you know and also learning about things together and,
Mhm.
just being a part of it, and
Definitely.
Yes.
yeah.
Definitely.
Well, you guys are I know Heather's hanging on and Shane's hanging on by a thread.
I'm good. I'm
Yeah,
drinking my iced tea. I'm sorry if I was yawning a little bit. It
yeah,
just
no. Once I talk about yeah, well, I'm pretty much finished, and, I think everybody unless anybody has any questions or anything like that, I think we kind of got through all the questions.
Mhm.
Um,
yeah,
yep,
I
just
don't think anyone else has, I
and
think we got all the questions
come
done
back
and I think we're good.
on Tuesday for
Yes.
the live
We
sale.
will probably have a thrift haul on Sunday. We did go out today and
Mhm.
we have stuff from last week.
Yep. And then we're going
So
out tomorrow.
and we're going yard selling tomorrow.
Mhm.
So we should have a thrift haul. We haven't had a thrift haul in 2 weeks.
Oh my goodness.
I was like, wow, it's been 2 weeks.
It's been a while. It's been a bit. It's been a minute.
Yeah, for some reason we got super busy. Well, my schedule was wonky at the school,
Mm.
so I couldn't even get really out there. So,
Yes.
but yeah. And this week is going to be nice. The weather's going to be warm, but the sun's going to shine.
Uh-huh.
So, yes, thank you all for teaching us. It was a good date night.
It
Yes.
was a good date night.
Yes, we like having our Friday night date nights.
Yes.
So we hope you all come back on Sunday to see what we found for you.
Mhm.
We'll definitely have to replenish our shelves. So
I know. All of a sudden, they're like getting empty.
Yes,
It's crazy.
yeah. And so the haul will be available on Tuesday. So it's going to be a haul. It's going to be a haul.
Oh.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm like, did she
Mute.
disappear again?
No, it's the thing. It's like, when you walk in the room and then you forget why you walked in the room.
Right.
Yeah.
I keep hitting this mute button when I have to cough or when I'm typing because otherwise it clanks and then I forget to
Right.
Then
Yeah.
you
unmute it.
forget to undo
Anyway,
it.
I'm here. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, Sylvia. If you have questions, just put them in the comments, and KP or myself will answer them.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
please, if you
Yep.
have any questions or comments or want to share any of your haul stuff, you can put the comments in or do it on our
Yeah. I
page.
I just hope people start to look for this again and start to collect it like any of the art pottery. I
Yes.
think it's great. I mean, we see a lot of glass. We see
Mhm.
a lot of various things, but I really feel like this kind of art pottery might be coming back around in vogue. Who knows? But
I hope
It's
so.
I think
possible.
it's pretty.
It
I
is
I do
think
very
it's
pretty.
too.
I
very
like it.
collectible.
Yes.
Yeah. Sisters, you are my kind of woman. That's that's so
Aw.
funny.
Ah,
Poodle,
thanks,
thank
Poodle.
thank
Yeah.
you for being here so much. Thank you everybody for being here.
Mhm.
I don't want to single or forget to mention anybody, but you know,
Yeah,
we
everybody.
we
Yes.
appreciate you all.
And
Mhm.
if you
Thank
have not come to one of our live auctions, we are on every Tuesday, or pretty much every Tuesday at 6:15.
Mhm.
So it'd be really great to see everyone back here on Tuesday.
Yes, and if you're
Yep.
not subscribed, please subscribe.
Yes, because
That would be
we're
wonderful.
at 9:55.
Mhm.
Yep, you're getting there.
So
Very close.
we're getting close to 1,000. We really would love to hit 1,000 this summer.
Mhm.
Um, it would just
I think
be
you'll get there.
It would be
I think you
wonderful.
will.
it'd be wonderful. It would kind of validate something that we're thinking of. So um, yeah, it would be great. So if you've been subscribed, just go back and check because sometimes
It
it
unsubscribes you.
unsubscribes you. Yes, Poodle. Tuesday, 6:15.
15.
It's a
Yes.
date. It's a date,
Yes.
little.
We'll be here.
I would be over the moon if I saw you in the chat. I
Yeah.
really would. Yeah. So yeah, we're definitely trying to get that 1,000, and we're gonna we're gonna try our best to ramp up this summer because we have so many ideas that we want to do, and if you guys hang with us along this journey, I think you're going to be pretty happy.
Yeah.
So
Hopefully,
Oh,
we'll have
yeah,
new and
definitely.
exciting things for you.
We're already happy.
Aw.
We're already yes, we're already
yeah.
happy. Yes, you,
Okay.
I wish you guys well, you know that. I don't
Mhm.
goes without saying. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're on your way, and
we're on our
you're
way.
yeah, and it's
Adventure's just beginning.
summer's around the corner, and you'll have more
Yeah.
time
Yes,
to do what you would like and thrift
exactly.
and go to estate sales and all of that.
Mm.
So,
Oh, at least
the
like
Does It Glow idea is great.
yes.
Oh, yeah,
Mm.
thank you, Lisa. We'll
Yes.
talk about
Oh, I
that.
like that title. Does it glow?
Does
I
it?
actually like we'll
That's what
probably
everyone
use that
says.
Mhm.
we'll probably
Does
use
it
that
glow? Does
title.
it glow? Does
Does
it
it glow?
glow?
Yeah.
So I'll have
There's
to write that down
different
and
reasons
remember
why it glows or
it.
doesn't glow and all that business. So, yeah, that'll be another one in the on the list
Uh-huh.
to do.
Yeah, awesome. All right, everyone. Have a
Yep,
great rest of your night.
Yes, and a great
And a
weekend.
great
God
weekend.
bless.
Hopefully,
yep.
it's not
Take care,
getting
everyone.
too bad storms or anything. And
Yep,
we'll see you on Sunday. If not, then we'll see you Tuesday at our live auction.
Yes.
yep. And enjoy yourself tomorrow thrifting, and
Yes.
everybody
Yes.
have a nice weekend. I wish
Yeah.
everyone a nice weekend. All right,
All right, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
bye for
Thank you so
now.
much.
Yep.
Bye.